It is mock draft season coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast. Coming up on the Wincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Cincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I am Ace. He is Zim. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We truly appreciate that. And if you're following us over on Twitter, please give this video a retweet. We truly appreciate that. Zim, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty daggone good, man. I did want to start off the show by just saying F the Lakers. I feel like behind
got you in your feelings a little bit.
Behind the scenes, I'm gonna tell y'all, bro. The Lakers are the new Steelers. Like all these dudes talk about is stuff I don't even remember. I can't stand these people, bro. Like I don't know what's up with them. But F the Lakers. We're gonna be documenting the Lakers down.
MVP or no?
I don't care. I don't care.
You can get to you. No.
I mean, it's a foul baiting MVP, so we could do that every single step of the way. But we're gonna document the excuses. Now, I want this because last year he did the same thing. He talked this tough guy stuff, and the Lakers are gonna win championships. They're gonna win championships. But then when Luka and them boys get packed up, then he's gonna change his whole tune. So I want this to be documented on April 1st. No April Fools. The Lakers are trash, and you're not winning a chip. I need that to be clear.
We were winning a chip. I said that this year I don't see us winning a chip, but this summer when we go and get Giannis and all of that and move that $50 million off the books, yeah, we're gonna be back then. But right now, I mean, to be honest, if I'm being honest and really talking basketball, even though this is a Bengals podcast, I think the Spurs and OKC right now got it. And until I see. I don't think we have an answer for Wemby, bro. That's just where I'm at, where it stands at from this standpoint. Okay. I don't think Ayton is enough, so we'll see.
But no Timberwolves love, even though that's the team that
I don't think the Timberwolves. Document this. I don't think the Timberwolves are serious, bro. I don't see them going back to Western Conference Finals like Zim is saying. I don't see them going to the finals. Clip that. Keep it. Okay. All of that. I say. Yeah,
I just want this to be clear for all Bengals fans that don't watch basketball. I want to be very clear. Jamar Chase and Anthony Edwards, the parallels with their careers it's undeniable.
Just like Joe Burrow and Luka Doncic. It's like the same parallel.
Don't ever do that ever again. Ew, that's disgusting. Jamar Chase probably we know as a fan base is probably the best. Pure, like when you watch him play and you actually look at him, you say, oh my God, like he does things that nobody else can do. Back-to-back Western Conference Finals, just like Jamar Chase, back-to-back AFC Conference Finals. It's the same thing.
Just like it's Super Bowl Finals appearance for Luka. Yeah, it's like the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but the difference is Luka has all those miles on him, and he played for Serbia for like 20 years or something, winning like with professionals. Anthony Edwards came straight from the womb, straight to the league, and changed the whole franchise around, just like Jamar Chase. So if you don't watch basketball, I want you guys to go ahead and check out the Timberwolves, one of the best backcourts in basketball. If they play the Lakers, this will turn into the Timber Natty podcast because I'm gonna cook this guy right here to my left every single day because he can't beat him. You can't. The funny thing is, you just said those.
To play the Timberwolves. I can't wait.
No, you can't. You don't want that. You don't want that.
But let's bring our guests in because we're sitting here talking basketball.
There we go.
And we brought in a special guest here that has a special tool that just I believe came out today, and that is going to be John Sharon from A to Z Sports. John, what's up, brother?
For the record, I love everything that Anthony Edwards is, but no one has an answer for Wemby for the next 20 years. He's got next. He does.
Yeah. Wemby is like the alien is here. Aliens are here. Joe Burrow asked where the aliens are at. The alien is in San Antonio.
I do want to see how we stack. I just don't want to play those guys early. I'll play them in the I'll play them in the Western Conference Finals though. But yeah, John, welcome to the show, man. Long time buddy, friend, compadre, running mate, all these different things. We got history and everything, man. I always, enjoy catching up with you. I was just on your show probably about it was like 2 weeks ago, right?
Something like that. It was like right before free agency, expecting
right.
Moves from the Bengals, and they did some of them. Yeah.
Was I in my Devin Lloyd mode at that point? Because
you did mention
these. Okay, I go on these like 48-hour shifts, and like I just drastically changed. So hopefully I wasn't too absurd on that one. But I'm glad that you're here, man. I appreciate you. And tell people, if they don't know, where they can find you before we get into anything. Where can they find you on your show, on your socials, website, whatever you want to plug?
Yeah, man. John _Sheeran on socials, on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you call it now. A to Z Sports Cincinnati, wherever you get any sort of video content. I do some long form video stuff now. I'm definitely not as good with the introduction as Ace is. He's been doing a lot longer than I am, and I still have some work to do there. But yeah, we just talk some Bengals, wherever you get your video content.
I appreciate it, brother. Zim, did you want to talk about any Bengals stuff, or do you want to go right into the draft? Because A to Z just released this new tool. It's dope. You can do trades. You can do all kind of stuff. Do you want to get into that, or do you want to have some Bengals roundtable banner before we get into it?
I feel like we could blend it all in, because I think part of the conversation is with the simulator and then letting John come on and kind of go through his mock. I was hoping that we could talk about different, where you feel like the Bengals are at in the reason.
I want to know where he thinks about free agency, because I've seen some of your videos. Now that we're at the point where we're at now with the Joe Flacco kind of signing, where are you at in terms of the Bengals and free agency? Because it's been I think a lot of people have been critical, and that's putting it nicely, of the Bengals free agency thus far.
Yeah, I think from a national perspective, they're hitting the right points in terms of these guys that they signed are quality players that they're going to help them. Like, the defense has added talent via them, right? And it's this weighing game of who have you lost and who have you gained, right? And I do think that there are some. I don't fully agree with saying oh, well, Trey didn't play all last year, so it's you don't even count him necessarily in terms of losing. You're still losing a really good player, at least for the time being, right? And I think that's still a loss that Boye Mafe needs to end up proving that he can eventually replace. But I like the players. I think the conversation about it has been relatively fair. There were expectations about how many players that they probably should have signed, how many players could they have signed with the money that they had, all the contract structures, and then I grow tired of talking about that. At some point it gets a little bit too much, right? At the end of the day, they have their financial principles. They know they want to structure deals the way that they want to, and this was their budget, and this is how many players that they could afford with those constraints and everything like that. Unfortunately for them, and this is not a Bengals exclusive issue, they do lead themselves to having more holes than they probably should entering the draft, right? And every team to some extent drafts for needs. It's just that the Bengals end up doing this a lot more often than they probably should, and they're in a position now where it's it would be very nice if they would have signed just an affordable, competent linebacker, at least to tie a bow up on all this, and where they could have one pressing need, in my opinion, which is defensive end. I still think that that's the biggest need on this team. I know me and Zim talked about it a little bit in terms of what they should have done at that position, considering the fact that Shamar Stewart is still there. Personally speaking, it just really terrifies me that Shamar right now is defensive end 3, and you're counting on him to take a Miles Murphy year 3 type jump in year 2. That's kind of where my mind is right now, knowing that obviously they signed Boye Mafe to a large deal, knowing that their linebackers are still entirely unproven, and you probably want to do a little bit better at cornerback right now. I still look at the defensive end room in terms of I just don't have a lot of confidence right now behind Miles Murphy and Boye Mafe, and that's what really terrifies me.
Can I say though, all right, so let me give you I think from an organizational standpoint, and I sometimes I look at this more a little bit along the lines of a business, right? In the sense of, we collectively in the building went and got a first round talent in Shamar Stewart, whether people believe he's a first round talent or not, or whatever. The concept of this guy still has to have snaps, or meaningful snaps. Now, will they kick him inside? We're going to see. I think they will. I'm actually cutting up a bunch of stuff. Wincinnati, for our members or whatever, there is cut ups of him on the end. I have the cut ups of him kicking in at 3-2, getting uploaded soon. But I wanted to say this. My only thought process behind the edge guy before the draft is that you would be signaling that maybe he's in a battle. Maybe he doesn't win the battle. I don't know. But to like then scale down a first round picks snap count to me is kind of crazy, right? But you're like, cool, let the best players play. I just think that that's kind of crazy. Like, I just don't think you could do that. And then my second point is, okay, what is that guy that we would have brought in beforehand that would have filled that void? And also, is that same type of guy still out there? And then as we get into the draft, I think I'm gonna see where you go, but I'm 1,000% targeting that potential guy in the second round in this draft in my mind, because that's a guy I feel as though you give him meaningful snaps, good competition, the room now raises, and now you got Mafe, Stewart.
I get where the mindset is. I get where the mindset is with that. And I understand, like, yeah, you made this investment, right? And I get that part of it. The same is kind of being done at linebacker. And I think the Bengals have just, with the way that some of these picks have worked out in the past, where they seem to have not hit the mark. I'm not going to say strike out, right? Because Shamar's still a young player. He still could advance. But I think when you look at some of these players like Myles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, coming into the NFL draft, they were kind of known as these players with high ceilings that have to develop. Like, and it's not going to be a quick turnaround for them. So I think, like, when we look at it from that perspective, it's like, okay, here we are again in a similar situation with Myles Murphy, where you drafted kind of a project player and you don't know if he's going to hit that level that we need him to in year two. He could. I'm not going to say that he couldn't, right? Because they've done this before where I would say it has worked in Amarius Mims, right? Amarius Mims had a very small sample size, had some injuries, and he had a lot of potential, and he actually ended up hitting that year one, right? Year two, he took the next step. The only thing is, if you're waiting for a Demetrius Knight and a Barrett Carter and those growing pains and maybe Shamar Stewart, you have the opportunity where you're not performing as a defense at the level that maybe you need to in a window where you got Burrow and them in the championship. So I can see where it's like, okay, Shamar should get those reps for sure, right? But what is our plan B if the Shamar Stewart thing doesn't work year two, where we get him in there and he's not productive? Then are we scrambling, or are we trying to find, like, are we throwing in like a Oren Burks in the linebacker situation? Like, it's just not going to work. And I feel like they have to have something there. And maybe it's another draft pick that they bring in. But I can see where John is coming from, where it's like you can't put all of your eggs in a developmental player's basket. And I'm not even just going to single out Shamar Stewart, but I feel the same way about linebacker. When you're putting it in where pause. Wow, that was crazy. When you're hoping that those guys are going to turn it on year two, it's a gamble. If they make it, then you're good. You look like a genius. But if they don't, then it's like, are we back to the same situation next year in free agency or in the draft? That's the only fear that I have, is if they haven't collectively filled those spots and they don't take those jumps, where does that lead the Bengals?
And I think I do agree with Zim in the sense of, like, it would be so ideal if they could find, like, that day two edge. It's just that I have more confidence that I could find it rather than the Bengals. Just knowing that, like, they, like, objectively, like, they're just not good at developing and finding, like, quality pass rushers, and it sucks. And it's why, like, if there is a guy at 10 that I feel like I'm just so confident in him, I would just make the pick.
Hell yeah, hell yeah,
yeah, 100%. So, like, if they do dip into day two, I really hope it works out. I don't know if I have confidence in it.
When we get to this mock simulator, that's part of the beauty of it, because I do have two things I do have to say, and I want to see what you think about this, John. The first is, okay, I'm paying this guy. So Ace brought up Mims, right? And he brought up any of these guys. The only way you know in this process, what you have is to play them. You can't just say, I don't know. And then, okay, so you have to play them. You have to. And it's a first round player. So you have to play him. Like, even if it's not 300 something snaps, you have to play him to some extent. Like, anybody that's radical that thinks that Shamar Stewart isn't going to play like at least 280
he's going to see the
to
field.
300.
He's going
to, like, it has to happen that way. And he's got to play. But this is the other thing. I'm going to go back to my little business thing that I was just thinking about before I said this. Why am I, or who am I, paying $6 to $8 million to go and battle with, and I'm just throwing 6 to 8 because I'm just like, who is this player? Is it like Jadeveon Clowney? Like, who is the guy that would match up with the Bengals that says, I'm okay with being edge 3-4. I'm okay with splitting snaps with a developmental guy. Like, who is this guy that, you know, that you think potentially could be where you wouldn't be in this spot, I guess.
I think the guy was, most people wanted like a Kalavion Chason, or however you say his name. I think some people were thinking like someone like that would be the guy.
I don't think he's signing up for edge 3.
Yeah,
and I don't think Clowney is at this moment right now at all. Like the idea, like, oh, like just go get Bosa or Clowney like before the draft is just not a likely possible. Like, those guys, like their agents are talking about opportunity, not just about money, right? So I just look at it like you need 4 defensive ends to just be a defense that can do something in the playoffs. That's just the tried and true philosophy. So they eventually do need that 4th. And if it comes after the draft, like, oh, like they struck out at edge, maybe there's more opportunity for a guy like a Bosa or Clowney to play. Maybe that ends up coming into. But like, I just know, like, this is why the draft is so important, because Shamar Stewart is a multi-year investment, and you need to see what that does look like eventually when the time comes. And it does have so many, you know, like other future ramifications, which is exactly what we're talking about right now.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
All right, let me go ahead and get this draft tool pulled up. So as you guys can see, the A to Z sports draft simulator, you got it right here. It's very cool. We got 4 rounds. You can use AI to do trades, AI pick suggestions if you want, trade suggestions if you want. Very simple, very, very clean design here. We're going to go ahead. We ready to kick it off?
Let's do it.
Sir.
All right, let's do it. All right, we got Mendoza, Reese, Jeremiah Love, David Bailey.
Damn, Mendoza went off.
Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles both went off the board. Mansour goes to the Chiefs for those listening from the podcast. Sonny Styles goes to the Saints.
But looky. Who's
nice
here?
here? But this is on John Sheeran. This is on him. Right now, the number 1 player available for those listening, Ruben Bain Jr. is there on the board at 10.
John, hold on. Talk me through this, though. How realistic, because there's going to be somebody that's watching this. They'll see the simulator right now. How realistic, talk me through the picks beforehand. How realistic is a Ruben Bain board look like? And then, you know, go into what you want to go into.
Yeah, I've ran through this countless times at this moment. I've rarely seen Bain fall this far, because our board is based off of our mock drafts that we build on A to Z Sports. So like, those are just multi-round mock drafts made by our experts. So that's kind of how our consensus board is curated, based off of where these guys go in expert mocks. And so far, like, a lot of them on the site have Ruben Bain going like before the Bengals in the top 9 picks, right? So to see him here available is rather rare. I do think in actuality, though, when looking at like the top players that I think the Bengals could realistically draft, he is still amongst that list to me. Like, I'm not ready to say that he's a guaranteed top 9 pick just because of the length and the conversations with that, and the NFL just gets caught up in their ways beside that. But everything about Ruben Bain, like, to me personally, just like this guy is, he just has it. Like, the data says it, the film says it. Just like watching him play, watching him move, it's just all there. So like, I do think there's a good chance that he's available with the 10th pick. He just hasn't been around very many times in this sim, just because that's just the way that our board works. But in actuality, I think there's as good of a chance as like a Caleb Downs falling that far as well.
And I think this is actually possible, because you talk about Mendoza going first, then Reese, then Francis, the tackle out of Miami. Then you got Jeremiah Love to the Titans. Then you have David Bailey to the Giants. Carnell Tate to the Browns. They take a wide receiver.
Very, very realistic. Very
Caleb
realistic. A
Downs
lot.
with the Commanders. Sonny Styles to the Saints. Delane to the Chiefs. Like, this isn't something where it's like, oh, this looks crazy. Like, these are names that we've seen in this area. It just so happens that one team may have gone Caleb Downs over Reuben Bain or Sonny Styles, right? And so now you end up with a board where Reuben Bain Jr. is there.
And the one thing that I keep on talking about, and I think it's very, I don't know if this is like clickbait or something like that, but it's always very common for everyone to show the worst case possible board in the entire world, right? Mm-hmm. And then they say, okay, well, who would you draft if this is gone? But I will say in this scenario, there are two things that stick out to me. I think 100% a team is going to take a wide receiver before pick 10. I really do. And I do think that the Browns, although they need offensive line, I do think that they probably would be the team that be like, look, we have an opportunity to take the best wide receiver, like in the NFL draft. We need that guy. We're going to, they're talking up Deshaun Watson lately. They're going to, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to be talking that up. But even if they didn't, you're talking about a team that just had a complete overhaul of their offensive line. That's another team that I think will maybe be looking at offensive line. And because of the business of the NFL, how expensive tackles are, guys like Spencer Fano, who are still on the board. I don't know if he's gonna be an NFL tackle. Isn't he scheduled? Isn't he gonna be a guard?
Some people see him as a tackle, some see him as a guard. So it just really depends, right?
So that isn't the greatest example. Now, but that goes to my whole thing. Like, there might be a team. Now, mind you, the Carnell Tate was the only one that I think people are just, they don't see that mock all the time. Yeah. But I do think that there's an NFL team that's going to say, I have an opportunity to take the best offensive lineman in the top 9 picks.
The one thing that I'll say is there isn't a premium offensive lineman that's standing out right now. And it is a possibility where the Browns, when they have, I believe they have 2 first-round picks. So they're expected to target wide receiver and offensive line. And so it makes more sense for them to go Carnell Tate early because he should go within that range than them reaching for a Monroe Freeling at 6. That would be insane.
But that's my main point is for Bengals fans watching this, it's very realistic. Everyone keeps on saying all the scenarios of all the defensive players coming off the board. Whether it's an offensive lineman or a wide receiver coming off the board, I don't care. If one of them come off the board, you're looking at a board. Now, say Bain got picked by somebody. That means one of these other guys could have potentially been on the board, is my main point.
I think the over-under for offensive linemen and wide receivers gone in the first 9 picks is like 2.5. Because like Freeling is very much in that conversation. Caden Proctor was lobbed to the Browns number 6 overall in terms of some rumors. So like teams are just so desperate for that position, and just because like CC is guaranteed to be top 10, and I agree with him. Like I would definitely imagine either the Chiefs or the Browns or potentially like the Commanders taking a receiver as well.
Taking him, yep, for sure. So John, who are you taking? Are you taking Bain in this spot?
I'm turning around, doing the 360 dunk of the card in Reuben Bain personally. Yeah,
let's go. Look at Randall. Even Randall turned out on that one right there.
All right. I assume we're not doing any trades or anything, right?
Let's keep it funky. Let's keep it raw. So just if you're listening to this on the pod, appreciate you. But just Peter Woods comes off the board. Anybody notable, John, that you want to bring out? We talked about the edge position. I saw Zion Young come off the board.
Caleb Banks is gone.
Caleb Banks.
Allen is gone.
Chris Johnson, the cornerback, is gone.
Okay. Anybody that you are potentially eyeing, John, that you're thinking that, damn, I wish he didn't come off the board?
Yeah, Colton Hood, I think, deserves a little bit more love as a cornerback. Obviously, Jermon McCoy is going to be a prime Bengals target, but I'm assuming they've seen plenty of Hood tape at this moment. Zion Young feels like a Bengals edge as well, but obviously they already took Bain, or we already took Bain. Caden McDonald is also like, I'm really interested to see where he ends up going, just as like a dominant nose. I think for the most part, like there wasn't anyone reaching too far ahead there. Like I think ideally I would want like I would be looking at a cornerback here, and Chris Johnson's like the best case scenario. But I know D'Angelo Ponce is probably still on the board as well.
CJ Allen coming off the board that early. He came off at like 22 or something like that. That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, that was insane. So are we looking corner here, or corners where you're headed, John?
I think corner is definitely on the mind. Like I can't not think about the Bengals drafting the corner really early in this draft. It's just like all the signs are pointing there, and the fact that Bain was on the board is why like I think that would probably be pushed off to day 2. But yeah, like in this scenario, I'm looking at cornerback and linebacker in terms of like where I expect the Bengals to go in this spot, and I don't know, man. Like I feel like they probably like this is tough, right? Like I think Galladay makes a ton of sense for them. I don't know how much they would be in on Jacob Rodriguez, but if this is just purely me, D'Angelo Ponce is staring me right in the face, and like it's hard to ignore him, man.
All right, so Ponce it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Waiting on that.
God damn, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to spoil it. God damn it, we're cooking. Bain and Ponce. You gotta see John. We gotta bring the war room excitement. Like they're got it. Who's gonna be Zach Taylor and Pound?
No. I'm not banging the table when Jermaine Burton is picked. I'm not doing it.
If you guys didn't see, me and Ace had a great interview with Jermaine Burton. It's been like a week now. You guys want to check that out on our Wincinnati pod? It's a pretty good interview, and I think a lot of people were. I don't know what people were, but it's a pretty candid interview.
Nah, for sure. So we're now at pick 72 after taking Ruben Bain Jr. and D'Angelo Ponce. We're now in the 3rd round, John. Is there any particular position that you're looking at? Are you thinking best player available? I know you mentioned linebacker in the last round. Is that something that you're looking at? Are you thinking potentially offense, or where are you going right now in the 3rd round?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to a receiver in this scenario. I think just pushing Yoshi is something that I'm still very much interested in. Obviously, Anthony Hill is the top player on our board, and I think this is probably like I think the 2nd round is a little bit too rich for me at this moment. Just like he's obviously young, he's productive, but I still think about like they obviously want more talent at that position, but last year the problem was inexperience, and it's like you're expecting to get a boost at that spot with another inexperienced player, and I don't know if Hill is like the guy that like can immediately come in. And of course, this is thinking too much in terms of the here and now, and the draft is supposed to be a long-term investment, right? So we always have to balance those feelings out. So I would be interested in Hill. I think this is the range to pull the trigger on him, but I'm also interested in wide receivers as well.
Can I know this is John, I'm gonna let John pick, but can I see the wide receivers?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm gonna pull up the wide receivers and linebacker.
Yeah. Yep. What about can I see D tackles as well, please?
We can see as many positions as we want on the A to Z Sports Mock Simulator.
What a sweet ass mock!
All
so
right.
if you guys are watching this right now, make sure you guys go to A to Z Sports and go and do your own simulator. If you hate John's picks, I did want to give people an idea with the board, like if they're listening, who's on the board right now. Ace, can you isolate wide receivers just so we could?
So wide receivers, we're looking at Jeremy Bernard, Zachariah Brents, Skylar Bell, Deion Burks, Brennan Thompson, Bryce Lane, Kevin Coleman, Jacoby Lane are some of the top guys on the board right now.
All right, and linebacker, just isolated linebackers.
Isolated linebacker, Anthony Hill, Kyle Lewis, Harold Perkins Jr., Keyshawn Elliott, Justin Jefferson, Deontay Lawson, Bryce Bocher. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Those are the
and D tackle, and that's the other one.
D tackle, you got Daryl Jackson, you got Dante Corleone, Tim Keenan, Zane Durant, Caleb Proctor, Landon Robinson, who I believe the Bengals are going to meet with, but on a top 30 visit. So got some options out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of those D tackles for round 4. Like that's where my mind is at that moment. And like I don't know Zim, like or you Ace as well. Like in terms of like wide receivers versus Anthony Hill is like where I'm thinking at right now. And none of the wideouts aside from potentially Skylar Bell, in my opinion, are like really speaking to me. But
Right.
Yeah, like this is an opportunity. Like I could be very much open to like a Jeremy Bernard or a Branch in here in terms of getting me off those two guys right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not pushing back. I want you to come in.
I'm not pushing back either. I
I'm
think
not pushing back.
like they've gone defense back to back. I mean, the linebacker is there, but the opportunity to add that third receiver, like you
Can I
kind of
see
mentioned,
safety? Can I see safety real quick? I'm sorry to cut you off.
safety. Hold on, let me so you got Stukes, Wheatley, Bud Clark, Kilgore, Dalton Johnson.
I like Kilgore a lot. I don't know if I like him right there though.
Right.
Yeah, I like Kilgore a lot. I like Skylar Bell.
I mean, I'm a Bengals fan.
He's
I'm
like
never be opposed to taking a receiver.
Damn right. That's one thing we didn't talk about. John, when Bane was on the board, let's say Bane isn't on the board in that same scenario. Is there any scenario where you could see yourself talk yourself into an offensive player or a skill position or Sadiq or anybody like that at tight end and that picked him?
When this process all started, man, like Mekhi Lemon really spoke to me. Like just as like he was such a perfect fit for like the slot. And obviously you can still move Chase in there whenever you want, but like Lemon is just I don't know about like the entirety of like what he's got going on, but just the tape and numbers are just phenomenal. And I think he'll be worth a top 15 pick. And if the board does fall a certain way in which like it's the worst possible scenario, I wouldn't count him out necessarily. I don't think the Bengals would pick him, but I don't think he would be like a light the pick on fire type of scenario at all.
The only reason why I wasn't looking at it because I was looking at a board like say Bane wasn't there. We had any the kid from Penn State that I like a lot. Like the guard there. We had any offensive. We had any offensive lineman that we wanted. I think maybe I'm getting mature or something these days. But I was thinking offensive line if Bane would because I just saw the guys running off the board that fast. It would be hard to talk me into like a skill guy outside of Jeremiah Love like in that pick, man.
I don't know. Jeremy Bernard would look pretty good in the slot, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Alabama wide receiver Burton. We're in the third round. You really want to do
that? We
you really want to do that again?
We can't do that. I have to imagine Bernard is his own human in that regard. Again, that
would be nuts. Watch that really happen, bro. We need to clip that. That's going.
As much as I think that, again, the Bengals need experience at linebacker right now, I do think that Hill's probably the best player. And I think this is probably just the range to pick him. I don't love going back to back to back defense. I would love to take a receiver, but I feel like I'd be like taking a position and I feel like I would be just being a hypocrite at that point.
All right. So just so you guys are watching at home, this is the analysis provided by A to Z on Anthony Hill Jr. Instinctual player with top-notch burst downhill, productive run defender with 17 career sacks, coverage ability, struggles against smaller receivers in space, gets misdirected by the quarterback with his eyes on play action. Sounds like something the Bengals could definitely use for sure. A productive run defender at linebacker after having a lot of missed tackles last year on defense. So we are going to go Anthony Hill Jr. here, and that leaves us with your fourth and final pick. We'll see who's still left on the board.
Kilgore is not off the board yet. Mind you, too, if you're listening or you're watching this at home right now, we've had trade offers, but we decided, I guess, collectively we're not entertaining.
Oh,
wow,
interesting.
3 new trade offers, and I'm telling you, Kilgore did not come off the board. Oh no, hold up, yeah.
And I do want to mention something about the trade offers because what's dope about this is A to Z Sports is actually using a trade value system. So if for those not watching on the YouTube right now, it shows that they're offering pick 119. Carolina's offering pick 119, which is worth 453 points. And then they're offering a 2027 seventh round pick, which is an additional 75 points for pick 110, which is worth 495 points. So it shows you the offered points, the points required, and all of that. So it's pretty dope. It's not just saying, hey, this is what they're offering you, and you're just seeing some kind of line going across to say whether or not that they're going to approve it or not. This is really using a trade value chart to actually give you incoming trade offers.
Nice.
All right, so we're here. You did mention Skylar Bell. Skylar Bell is there in the fourth round. Was there any other particular position that you wanted to see? Because right now we're showing the top wide receivers, linebackers, and safeties.
Yeah, I guess we can get rid of linebacker. I just want to see if my guys at defensive tackle are still here as well.
All right. So for defensive tackle, the top one left is Tim Keenan. Let's see if there's anyone else.
Zane Durant's still there.
Zane Durant.
Zane Durant's still there. Caleb Proctor, Landon Robinson still there. So you still got some options there.
And reminder to fans checking us out too, Bengals do not have a 5th round pick, as John reminded me before we got on here. But you know what? I've been trading. Like I've only done like one mock, like prior to this.
Yeah, I've been trying to like trade back in like either the first or the second, recuperate a third, and then either trade back from the 4th or like trade up from the 6th to the 5th and just basically get like 7 picks and just like say screw the late 6th and the 7th picks at that point. Just give me like 6 or 7 guys that I feel like can make the team. So like that would be again like how I would try to aggressively plan it out, but obviously the real draft just goes a lot quicker than that and it's much harder to make those plans. Right. But again, like Skylar Bell and Zane Durant and Jalen Kilgore are my top 3 here. And again,
I think Bengals do. I think Bengals do make a trade on draft day because I think they're so caught up in like they gotta get more arrows thrown and they'll go pick up that extra guy. Like if it's a late round pick, like 5th round, for sure.
Yeah, I think they would love to pick in the 5th, and they secretly don't love the fact that they don't have one right now because of the Joe Flacco trade. But yeah, man. I think I would take Skylar Bell here. Like I really like Durant and I like Kilgore, but just give me a receiver that can compete, and I think that's Bell right now.
So the analysis for those listening, Skylar Bell, he's an explosive receiver with 101 catches, 1,200 yards, and 13 touchdowns in his final season. Elite after the catch ability and sharp route running. Average play strength and press coverage vulnerability creates consistency concerns, but we're going to take him. Right here, I like that pick. He was the number 1 player on the board.
Still there. Landon Robinson is still there. Kilgore goes off. Pick 130, 131. They didn't have a 5th anyway, so.
All right. After we did that, we get our grade here. So shout out to John. He got a B on this one. Ruben Bain Jr. pick was a B+. It did not like the D'Angelo Pons pick. I loved it. He gave it a C. I loved it.
Those
Anthony
2 picks
Hill,
right there.
A+. Skylar Bell gets a B. So solid.
You give me those 2 in this NFL draft coming up right now, and I'm gonna be talking crazy online. I'm telling you that right now. Ruben Bain and Pons, like back to
Ruben Bain and Pons is
after Pons ran 4.31. Was that today or is that yesterday? I'm getting my data.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was today, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, it was today.
Pons, man. I don't know why they're here. You got to talk to the people, John.
Now that Pons, they're gonna have to probably adjust it. Now that Pons runs a 4.31, I get the size and they're like, bro, he has everything of a 1st round pick now.
He
like,
really
his
does.
Profile's crazy.
He really does, and it's the reason why Bain could fall to 10, right? Because people are scared of measurements, and like the Bengals are kind of one of those teams that really abide by those measurements, right? They made obviously exceptions with defensive linemen with arm length, obviously Trey and Geno make the exception with Bain, but going by size is how you predict a lot of Bengals picks, and Ace and his prime scores. I'm sure that's a big part of it as well. So we'll see if that changes.
Yes, sir. Well, John, we appreciate you once again for joining us, man. Just before you get out of here, once again, let them know any articles or stuff that you have coming out pertaining to the draft or Bengals in general. Let them know where they can find it.
Yeah, man. A2Zsports.com actually just got a little bit of a facelift along with the mock draft sim. So we've gotten a lot of complaints about, let's be honest, like there were ads all over the place, and sometimes it was really, really hard to read. A lot of that stuff is kind of by the wayside now. So much better looking website for all your draft content for the Bengals for the next, we're only 3 weeks away. So we're going to really ramp it up. And yeah, send me all your mock draft sims, man. Just keep using the site. We love it. So I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
brother.
send them all to John. Just add them all day, like hundreds. I need everybody to add them and just do the same thing.
And they will all be wrong when April 23rd comes out. So yeah,
bro. The whole concept of everybody falling in love with a prospect, I'm telling y'all, be careful
every year.
Because when you do this and then they go to the Steelers or the Ravens or something like that, I don't want to hear like now you're switching up and telling me that guy sucks after you just told us that was the love of your life before the draft.
Stand by the eval. Stand by the eval.
You got to stand by your eval, bro. That's why I'm waiting to see everything. But thank you again, John. I appreciate you so much, man.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you later. Brother Huda.
Yes, sir.
All right, I almost threw you out the chat, bro. Appreciate John for coming on. Thought that was a very solid mock draft. Love the A to Z mock draft simulator. Again, the trade aspect is super dope.
Points.
They also have a situation because we were actually using it on AFC North Talk, and it was a situation where one of the other teams wanted to trade up, and the person that they wanted got taken off the board. And we were like, oh, we're gonna have to start it over. And he had the go back button. So like there's a go back button where you can go back, hit that pause, trade back up if you want to. Very good product, very dope. And to me, it seems very realistic in terms of the way that the players come off the board from that perspective. So definitely some dope stuff, bro. But what do you want to get into now, post that mock draft?
I wanted to talk about the one thing. I thought that the mock was awesome. I thought Bane was awesome. Pons is awesome. After I do those two draft those two in the draft, then I'm probably looking, me personally, after those two guys, because I'm attacking two levels. I then would probably start looking at guard or looking at tight end or looking at wide receiver in that third round. That was my only. It'd be really hard to go 3 straight defensive picks in an NFL draft. It's as bad as our defense was. It's kind of hard for me. Like I can go predominantly defense out of our 6 picks or whatever. I could easily make 4 out of 6 defense. But I think if I go back-to-back defense starting off, I'm probably going back to like swing tackle, some like the best guard on the board. Or I'm looking at a tight end option at that point too.
Nah, for sure. Nah, I thought he did a real solid job, man. Yeah, I think Ruben Bain, that's a
dream come true for you.
Dream come true right there, man. And that's honestly, I don't ever see Ruben Bain Jr. fall to 10 like that. So, but the way that it happened was dope because all of the names there were names that are usually there. Like I think when I ran it over on AFC North Talk, Caleb Downs got taken as well, and Ruben Bain got taken, and the person that was there was Sonny Styles, right? So like if either of those 3 are there, like I'm with whatever. If it's those 3. Now, one thing that I want to talk about, I think, and John kind of hinted at this, but McCoy. I think McCoy is now a possibility or in play as a potential pick at 10. How do you feel about that? Are you like, you don't want him, or are you open to him being a possible pick at 10?
I'm open to him being a possible pick at 10. Is he the pick that I think that I would want? No, selfishly, I just think about impact of year 1. I think that they would figure it out. I think it means that Dax is like moving again or something. Like I just think it's like, to me, I think a bigger message that I think needs to be sent is that Dax Hill and DJ Turner are your boundary corners. And I think that players are watching, fans are watching, and looking at 2 guys that played really, really damn well. And I would hate for us to walk away from that situation and say that these guys did everything that they were asked and they weren't rewarded for it. Because then the whole stigma and this whole concept that I don't even know where this came from, where Bengals don't pay like their top players or something like that, when top players have a hard time getting away from the Bengals. Like, they let guys go like every season. I mean, like every once in a while, whatever. But to me, the rate that they let guys go onto the open market is far lower than anybody else in football. Like the Bengals are top 3 in retention in the NFL. If you want to keep like playing this game that the Bengals let people go, like don't sign DJ Turner and Dax Hill. I think that you solidify and you start to solidify identity with the team. I'm so tired of like trying to figure out what is this defense. To me, if you do that, I think you could still draft McCoy, you could still draft Delane, but I just want to see those two be a signature of the secondary. And no, that doesn't make me not draft Delane or McCoy, but now naturally Delane or McCoy don't have the same role or impact year one. And that's my only gripe with the cornerback pick. If they feel like that's the best player on the board, I'm with it. Like there's no problem with that. But when I think about Bain, even a guy like Jeremiah Love, any of the guys, Downs, immediately, there is no, we're trying to figure out where are they going on the field. Like Downs, same thing. Downs, you would pencil him as slot immediately, and you would say he would be high. Jalen Davis was showing the rope, so to speak. So maybe weeks 1 through 6, they're kind of rotating in that, but you're playing a lot of big nickel packages with 3 safeties, and you're letting Downs do whatever he wants. And then he could also do some of the stuff that Battle does. And then now Battle has to raise his game up because now Battle's like, damn, I might not get it. You know what I'm saying? That might be the odd man out if this thing didn't work out the way that they wanted to go. But to me, all the guys that I'm talking about, they represent impact. And when I look at teams that draft really well, like the Dickens Warriors of Seattle or Baltimore getting Kyle Hamilton and stuff like that, they're identifying not only is this the best player, but he also has something that goes hand in hand with our identity, and he goes hand in hand with currently right now our current plan. There's nothing else that would stop us from doing it. Delane and McCoy are awesome, but they do start to complicate what is the plan, what are we doing? Like I be seeing people say, like, yeah, let's put Dax back in this. I'm like, bro, we doing that again? Like, that's part of being a really good defense to me, is the cohesion and finding out what are the roles, who are the players, what is the identity. The secondary, I think, is starting to have an identity. I think Downs, and the reason why he's probably my number 1 pick that I want for pick 10, I think Downs is so perfect to allow DJ Turner and Dax Hill do what they do, and then Downs just makes plays. I just think it's such a no-brainer, and he's so smart, and that's what I really want. Same thing with Bain. On third down, like even if you think that Bain can't cut it in certain things, and you want to see him at the 5T or whatever you think, on third down, you would be lining up Mafe, rotating in Shamar Stewart kicked inside with Bain and Murphy. Like that NASCAR package is crazy. That's crazy. While Bain is learning how to adapt to the NFL, using his arm length and all these different things like that. Third down, no question. Go get in front of, go like singled up. Like, because you know what I'm saying? Like Murphy and Mafe should be getting enough attention now that Bain is now, you know what I'm saying? He's getting singled up like immediately day one. Wow. Like you're going to see it. To me, that's the part that fans, I think, sometimes when we talk about the draft, is they don't talk about what is the impact of that player right now at that position on this team. Bain on another team might not hit the same. He might have to wait a little bit behind somebody, like a little bit. On this team, they have a role for him on third down. He would get 300 something snaps day one, like year one, no questions whether he figured out how to get around long arm tackles or what. Year one, you could kick him inside, and I think he would cook. Him and Shamar Stewart would be a nasty duo, like to do that. And then you still got Jonathan Allen that you could still play in some of those downs too. So it's just like, bro, that's the makings of it. Impact in an awesome defensive line, in an offensive defense. I mean, in an awesome defensive unit. And that's how I look at the draft. It's marrying the need with the impact, and at all costs, get the best talent.
No, for sure. And I do have John mentioned some prime stuff. I do have that. It's going to be offered up for the Wincinnati members. So I have a couple of players that are actually high. Zim might not like that. One of them is Mansoor, so I'll give that out for now. But if you are interested in hearing that, I am going to go through a video explaining a lot of the practice or a lot of the prospects that align with what the Bengals have done from a draft tendency standpoint. They share some of these attributes of players that the Bengals have drafted in the past. So be on the lookout for that. That is for the members only. So that's not going to post on the channel. I'm not going to have that on Twitter. That is strictly going to be a Wincinnati members exclusive content video that I'm going to do. So be on the lookout for that when that comes out. But like you said, bro, whoever they are picking at number 10, even if it is the corners, they need to be on the field. Like they need to be a starter. They have to have some sort of, like you said, impact instantly. We cannot do this thing where we're taking a guy like Shamar Stewart and we're not seeing him on the field playing massive snaps year one, right? And that's not Shamar Stewart's fault, right? But we're not doing this thing where we're drafting Amarius Mims and we're starting who was the dude that we got? Who was the your boy from the Patriots? We drafted him, and at first he was starting over Mims. He was a tackle that we signed. He's always hurt all the time. Say his name. You're muted.
Oh, my bad. Trent Brown.
Trent Brown. We're not Trent.
He just got an extension.
Yeah, but we're not doing that. We need whoever this top 10 pick is like the unquestioned starter at whatever position it is day one. We're not doing this thing where we have like some stopgap player in there and then we're not CTB in this, right? Where we have Cheeto and somebody else started. Not. We need somebody that is starting week one, like training camp, all of that. It's unquestioned that this person is the starter. And I think, like you said, Caleb Downs is going to be that. But whoever we take at this number 10 pick, it is not a future pick. It is not a, hey, this guy's in the mid. No, this is going to be a surefire starter that has to have Pro Bowl, all-pro potential. A guy that's going to be, what was it? Al Golden talked about a force multiplier. Number 10 needs to be a force multiplier. It has to be a force multiplier, especially on this defense. So we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I agree with you, bro. You got to have a force multiplier at that position. It's got to be.
If Mansoor can play in a slot, which he did do in college or whatever, that works. That works.
He can.
That works.
He can play outside. He can play in the slot.
So. Jalen Davis isn't stopping me from doing anything, so that could work. I do think Mansoor, though, to me, is the reason why you take a corner at pick 10 is to play the boundary.
Is to play outside. Like, yeah. See, that's but see that's what's throwing me off. I'm like lukewarm on Caleb down because I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay the 10 pick for somebody to be a nickel corner. But the thing about Downs is he can play multiple positions. So it's not that he's just a nickel corner. He can be up there as a linebacker. He can be in there as a third safety if they need him to, or as a safety rotating in and out. So that's the thing that makes Downs so special is that he's similar to Dax. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife that you can use.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Nick and Worry, Petrie from the Texans, and Kyle Hamilton, I'm going to tell y'all right now, nobody from their fan base, nobody on their coaching staff gives a damn what you classify those guys as. They're force multipliers, and they're an integral part of their defense. And when you watch them on film, teams scheme to get away from them. They don't want to go anywhere where those guys are. Caleb Downs is the same way. I don't care. I know people are saying like he's a little undersized. Like I'm trying to tell you, Honey Badger and guys like that, they just figure out they have these instincts. When you watch the film and go watch him go to the ball, he gets to the ball. He's always in the right spots. And when he does, he puts a hat on the football. Ball might pop out. Like it's a lot of different things that I just think that Caleb Downs can offer this defense.
What did you just say?
I said he puts a helmet, he puts a hat on the ball,
and then the ball might pop out.
The ball might pop out.
Okay. All right.
I didn't say the plural might pop out. The football might pop out. This guy's so immature. These Laker fans are just. I don't know. We can move them to like a different like. Don't y'all want to just go to your own league and just talk to people about like championships or something? Like, can't y'all so rich? Just go create your own league and just go over there.
We're so rich. We're paying LeBron $52 million this year. That's crazy.
Oh, let's not talk about LeBron. Let's not do this because this is gonna get this show's gonna get ugly.
All right. Was there anything else Bengals related that we needed to talk about? I think we pretty much have wrapped up. We had John Sharon on. We talked some stuff. Did you want to talk about the Zach stuff before we get out of here, or?
I was gonna say one thing. I thought that Zach was very, very generous and very, very. I guess he was commending the linebacker group a lot, and I'm kind of mixed because I've heard the audio on it, and I did want to see what you thought, or I want to get the audience and people in the chat to get you guys' opinion on it. I thought it was really, really
the takes on the linebackers.
Yeah, like, do you think that that's just Zach taking up for his guys, or is that just gamesmanship?
Mentioning Aaron Burks and Shaka Hayward was crazy.
The Shaka Hayward one, I literally, you ever seen a meme where the dude's looking at his headphones like
he's like taking them off?
Like what the?
Oh, you gotta have some gamemanship, man. I think at this point in the game, like, you don't want to reveal your hand as it relates to the draft. Because, like, if he's out there like, we need another linebacker in the room, everybody's probably like, all right, they're gonna go and get Sonny Styles or somebody or Jacob Rodriguez. So I think at this point in the game, with the draft 3 weeks away, everybody's going to look good on the roster, right? Like, we're good at nickel corner. We think Jalen Davis is just going to come in and do so I think it might be a little coach speak, but it also could be a vote of confidence to a guy like Demetrius Knight and a guy like Barrett Carter, right? Like, he could honestly feel like that, but the Shaka and the Oren Burks, that definitely is coach speak for sure.
See, I don't mind Shaka. I didn't mind when they had Meta. You know, I didn't mind any of those type of guys. But when they're talking about them glowingly in terms of being like an integral part of the defense, that's the part that like you need those like glue guys, like, you know what I mean? We had those guys like I can't even think of Joe Bocci's of the world. Like, you need those guys. But the way he was talking about him is like we're gonna need some shocking. We're gonna need some shocking this year. And I was thinking to myself, like, buddy,
I'm gonna have to get him a shocking shirt. Get
the
designs ready.
Is that gonna come to the press and be like, I'm talking to Sim Hude, like, you gonna get you some shocking this year. And I would have been like, you gonna get you some shocking. I'm like, hey, look, and I would have been like, all right, guys, that's it for the Wincinnati pod. We'll see you back in 2027. See, I'm in this mode. I was telling you, I'm in a little bit of wait and see. And another person I think that's in a wait and see mode is Katie Blackburn. What did you think about her? Now, if people don't know, so this is the NFL. My mind is going so blank after I just said that. But this is the general managers and I forget the
owners
name.
Meeting, like the
owners meeting. Yeah, the annual league meetings.
I think they actually have it down here. I always wanted to figure out what hotel they were in so I could pull up on Mike Brown.
You know that your Jags are playing in Orlando this year.
Jags, they're not my Jags. Not my Jags.
Well, I mean, the Orlando Jaguars is what they are this year.
Orlando Jaguars. I hope they play the Bengals that year. That would be dope. If the Bengals come to Orlando, because we always play the Jags. We're playing them again, I believe, this year. So I hope that the Bengals are playing them.
I said 2026. Yeah, 2027 Orlando Jaguars. So Ace will get his Orlando Jaguars gear over there.
Nah, absolutely not.
At Disney, with the Trevor Lawrence Orlando Jaguars jersey on is nasty. But what did you think about? So we don't get a chance to hear from Katie Blackburn at all, except the league meeting. She declined to speak. I guess she's in wait and see mode. What did you think of that?
I mean, it's obvious to me, bro. I think Katie Blackburn, based off of this free agency, she's probably seen them people adding her on Twitter. She wants no smoke about answering the linebacker and free agency questions. So I think it's best that she doesn't say anything. They probably would have asked her about Trey Hendrickson. That would have been enough. Like, that would have been a Bengals reporter hot take tag, like, article person's, like, I'm not gonna say that. We can't. This is a kid show, but you know what I mean. It was that kind of dream. It would be their dream for that to happen because they would have so many headlines that would come out of that would go viral, that people would be like, what? She said this. So, like, I think it's smart on her end to do it. I don't like it from a standpoint of we only hear from the front office once a year. So now with her not agreeing to do this, we're not going to, like, it's going to be like 2 years since we have heard from Katie Blackburn with her skipping this. Like, if the Bengals were a traditional team where ownership comes out and speaks about it, then I would be like, hey, this is no big deal. But now this is going to be a situation where we don't hear from her until next year. And being that she handles the contracts, you don't get answers on, hey, how's the DJ Turner and Dax Hill deals? Like, how are those negotiations going? Because she's the one that's going to be honestly having them if we're keeping it a buck. So I think you lose out on that. Did Mike Brown speak or no? No Mike Brown either?
No. You know,
yeah,
that's where he's gonna speak though. He doesn't speak at he doesn't make.
But yeah, I would like to hear what Katie Blackburn has to say, because I know that she plays a very integral part in that process, and obviously sometimes she has no filter, right? She's gonna say what comes to her mind when it comes to those topics. So
yeah,
I thought it was interesting that we didn't hear from her.
The one thing I will say, I have two different things. The first thing is I don't mind it because just like the Duke one, there's just nothing you could say to satisfy people that have just watched their team lose, right? The Bengals went 6-11. There's really little you could say. You could come up there, and everybody says this on the internet, take accountability. You could come up there and say how bad you suck, but then people would just use that against you. And then they'll also be like, yeah, that's why y'all should sell the team. So I think a lot of people's like, Duke didn't take accountability. I'm like, what is he going to say? Like, we sucked this year and da-da-da. And I think a lot of people want to hear that. I just don't think that Katie would have gave y'all any bit of that either. So it's like, I think they're smart enough to know, like, there's no pleasing. The only thing you could do is really win. The one thing I did say that I did want to know is I wanted them to ask her specifically with the lawyer background and everything, and like her sternness, and you know how she was about like the league rules when they the Bengals had to do the coin flip. She retweeted Chris Jones hugging the commissioner or whatever, and I always thought that was like, if I see her, I'll always want to ask her about that because she doesn't really tweet often, but she retweeted the Chris Jones hugging the commissioner. I always thought that was whatever, but her sternness though, I think I would have wanted to hear her answer on different league rules about like the 5 first round picks. And then also I wanted to hear her take on like the whole Baltimore rescinding the 2 first round picks. I would have been very curious with her background on, does she think that they, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that she would have had an interesting answer from that. But aside from that, though, I'm gonna tell y'all, I think a lot of these pressers that people, I think they message me, they'll at me and they be like, man, did you see what they said? I'm like, bro, like, I just don't really care as much as I used to, because I just understand that none of it's going to make anybody happy if we're not winning. So that's how I feel on that.
Nah, for sure. Before we get out of here, we got to toss it to our good folks over at Midwest Best Barbecue.
Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. They was them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. And much love to Mama T, Uno and CTB. MB's got Bengals wings, and now we just added T's. 9 to 5 winning things, gritty for Uno wings. We say yes, Sirski now, like Aces and be saying that T got them new wings, only at MB's. Honey lemon peppers, now you can call them T's. Honey lemon peppers, now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be
nice. That was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Make sure you stop in there and let them know Ace and Zim sent you the brisket fries, the barbecue, the chicken wings. Everything is A1. Everything is good. They also have specialty items that they bring for weekends. Sometimes it's the ribs, sometimes it's the shrimp. So you never know what's going to pop up over at Midwest Best Barbecue, 669 in Loveland, Ohio. Make sure you stop in there and get you something to eat ASAP.
ASAP.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, members, we have some special videos coming out very soon. Zim is going to do that cut up. He actually dropped a cut up before that as well. So make sure you tap into that. Make sure that you tap into the Jermaine Burton interview. I'm also going to drop a time video. So make sure that you get in tune with the membership. We have 2 versions. You can go with the Wincinnati Gold or the Wincinnati Platinum. So definitely appreciate you guys supporting us and the members that are already there. We definitely will start to do some shout outs as we build that membership up as well. And yeah, that's all I got, Zim. Anything that you got, Brody?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, any of the members that want to specifically look at a player or see cut ups on certain players or whatever, send them my way. I've been spending a bunch of time just watching like Bengals games throughout the season. College football, I still got film on them too as well. So make sure y'all just keep on sending those in. If you're not a member, that is okay too. Keep on supporting, watching the show. I don't care if you are or not, as long as you are watching us and telling people about the goodness of Wincinnati Pod. Please make sure y'all check out our other show, Bengals Pulse. They just had a guy, Matt Fitzgerald, who I know pretty well too. Really good. Another mock draft analyst or whatever that they had on their show too a couple of days ago as well. Check that one out. But they're doing really good stuff on their pod as well too. So make sure y'all check out Bengals Pulse underneath the Cincinnati umbrella as well. And yeah, man, we're going to keep it moving, and we got some. We got 2 good guests lined up next week as well too. So we got some good input for the draft, and we're going to keep on moving and making sure we give you guys some good info.
For sure, yes, sirski. Coming up on the Wincinnati Podcast.
Hello, world. Wincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.